Battle ready, the critical exercises at Camp Pendleton before Marines head out on their next mission. And the child vaccination rate climbs in California, the new law prompting more parents to take action.
To be able to walk across the stage and have my mom sitting there and my kids and my family, it was just awesome.
Back to school for a working mom. The San Diego program helping her fulfill a promise to herself. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebone Monet. Today, San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulkner presented his budget for the coming fiscal year. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Ebone says spending had to be trimmed because of the rising cost to fund pensions.
Every time a city has to make budget cuts, there are winners and losers. In Mayor Faulkner's proposed budget, the winners are libraries, rec centers, and road repair. The losers are the arts.
We had to make some tough decisions. And we had to prioritize what was most important.
What's most important to San Diegans, Faulkner says, are road repair, public safety, and neighborhood services. Faulkner proposes spending $71 million on repaving streets and filling potholes. A new fire station will be fully staffed, and 4 police academies will stay open.
And I'm proud to say that this budget keeps rec centers and library hours at their highest level in a decade.
The news isn't so great for arts funding, where Faulkner is proposing cuts of about $5 million. In 2012, when Faulkner was a city councilman, he voted for the Penny for the Arts plan to gradually increase the city's funding for arts and culture.
And it is a good investment because people do come to our city to spend dollars, and they have choices of what cities they want to come to. And to be able to come to San Diego for a rich and vibrant arts and culture community is extremely important to us.
Those wishes are meeting reality now. The plan Faulkner supported in 2012 would give the arts $22 million this year. He's now offering less than half of that. So were his words 4.5 years ago just wishful thinking?
No, I think anytime that you put a roadmap onto how you can increase services, and particularly in arts, it's a good thing. You do that with the reality of the budget that you're faced with. That's what we've done this year. And again, the fact that we've been able to increase arts funding over the last several years has been a good thing for the city.
Mayor Faulkner's proposed budget now goes to the City Council for review. He'll present a revised budget next month before a final vote at the City Council on June 5th. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Pentagon officials say the country's largest non-nuclear weapon was used today in Afghanistan. The bomb is unofficially known as MOAB, a massive ordnance air blast weapon, or mother of all bombs. It's the first time it's been used in combat. This is footage from a test conducted in Florida in 2003. The bomb contains 11 tons of explosives and targeted a series of tunnels and caves used by ISIS fighters.
The United States takes the fight against ISIS very seriously, and in order to defeat the group, we must deny them operational space, which we did. The United States took all precautions necessary to prevent civilian casualties and collateral damage as a result of the operation. Any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Defense on that.
The Pentagon says there's no estimate yet on the number of deaths or damage caused by the attack. PBS NewsHour will have more on this story. You can watch it right here at 7. A group of Marines stormed Red Beach at Camp Pendleton this morning, part of an elaborate exercise to get them ready for potential combat duty. KPBS reporter Steve Walsh was there and has this report.
We're out here at Camp Pendleton, where this morning the Marines of the 15th Expeditionary Unit performed an amphibious assault landing. This is the last major phase of their training before they're deployed to the Western Pacific sometime later this year.
It's the culmination of training that's been going on for months.
Hey, stay right there!
The Marines combined with the Navy to simulate a beach landing under heavy fire. Off the coast, the USS San Diego and USS America deploy amphibious landing craft.
All right, the Marines had just came up out from these beaches right down here, and in only about 4 minutes they made their way up into this makeshift town. Now they're going from building to building.
Hey, second team! Let's go, let's go! I'm on your ass, you can go, I'm on you. We're combined!
They simulate what it's like to clear a town where civilians are mixed in with armed groups who are firing at the Marines.
Boom!
If a Marine fails to cover themselves, monitors declare they've been shot.
Even though this is an exercise, these can be quite deadly. At least 9 Marines have been killed during training exercise here at Camp Pendleton since 2004. Though, according to the commanders, this exercise went off without a hitch. Reporting from Red Beach, Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
There's been a few months of uncertainty over whether lobbyists from Sempra Energy's new marketing division violated state law by meeting with elected officials in San Diego County. A state investigation into whether any laws were broken is still ongoing. KPBS reporter Claire Dregesser has more.
The investigation has to do with community choice, which would allow cities and counties to bypass SDGE and buy their own energy. SDGE and its parent company Sempra, by law, aren't allowed to lobby against community choice, so instead they created an independent organization to do it for them. Last week, the state said that organization, Sempra Services, is free to lobby, but its employees have been lobbying over the past few months before getting that full approval. A spokeswoman for the state says that decision won't impact the investigation into whether Sempra Services previously broke state law. Meanwhile, an SDGE spokeswoman says they believe they've done nothing wrong. Claire Dregesser, KPBS News.
This is the first school year affected by the law ending kindergarten vaccination levels are the highest they've been in more than 15 years. And health officials are crediting a new state law for the rise. 96% of California kindergartners are now vaccinated, a 3% increase from last year.
Because we know from science that if you can have vaccination rates above 95%, you are likely to pretty much prevent outbreaks in diseases of these diseases in communities. So in California, the fact that we have now on a statewide average vaccination rates that are over 95%, that's very, very important.
This is the first school year affected by the law ending personal belief exemptions for vaccinations. Medical exemptions are allowed for students who cannot be vaccinated due to complications with their immune system. Free college. San Diego Community College district leaders tell me it's enough to completely change some students' lives. It's happening thanks to San Diego Promise. Now, the program is expanding after its pilot year.
Romelia Turner is taking on a new workload.
I'm exhausted. I'm a little tired. 17 units is a lot,
She's back in school nearly 30 years after dropping out.
When I had my son, I didn't want to go back to school because I was a little embarrassed, but I did go to Bay Vista Beauty College.
Turner built a career in cosmetology and supported her son and daughter until cancer entered her life. In 2013, she says a doctor diagnosed her with breast cancer. A few years later, it was time to take care of her sick mother, who had cancerous tumors.
When I decided to go back to work, it was hard to find a job because I didn't have a high school diploma.
Romelia enrolled in San Diego Continuing Education.
I didn't want a GED, I wanted a high school diploma.
One by one, algebra, economics, physics. Turner completed the accelerated program.
And I just knocked them down one by one, so here I am at college.
She says finally earning her high school diploma has given her the confidence to achieve even more.
To be able to walk across the stage and have my mom sitting there and my kids and my family, it was just awesome.
Well, what's the square root of 5 times 5?
5.
It's 5.
Now Turner is striving for an associate's degree at San Diego City College. She was one of 186 students selected for the San Diego Promise pilot program, a San Diego Community College district program that covers fees and offers book grants to qualifying students.
What if every young person
who hoped to earn a college degree was given that opportunity regardless of their financial situation.
Lynn Nolt, the Vice Chancellor of Student Services, says it's the district's response to President Barack Obama's national campaign to make community college free.
If you look at the circumstances that they're coming from, it's really a choice between survival and food and going to college.
San Diego Unified School District selects the participants. More than 1,100 applied for the next San Diego Promise program, covering the 2017-2018 school year. There's funding for 600 new San Diego Promise students.
When you receive the calls, why didn't I get selected? If I don't get this, I can't go to college. You really realize that it is providing individuals hope for a future.
For Turner, she hopes to build a new career in psychology.
Education will take you so far in life, and it'll give you so much confidence in, who you are.
Turner describes herself as a caregiver by nature. Now, after years of helping people feel good on the outside, she wants to focus on helping people heal the inside. She plans to specialize in mental health.
And I want somebody to say, like, dang, if she can do it, I know I can do it too, because believe me, it was not easy.
The San Diego Community College District paid for the first year of San Diego Promise using private auxiliary funds. A booming business is taking hold in the education sector. Teachers are selling lesson plans online. And as AP reporter Joseph Frederick reports, some of them are making millions.
Samantha Cuckoo has her lesson plan ready for her language arts class thanks to another teacher.
I want to be able to enjoy my life outside of this room, and so that allows me to do that because I'm not spending 20 to 30 hours like I once was.
Cuckoo paid for the lesson plan with her own money, helping to fuel a booming business that spawned dozens of websites where teachers sell their lesson plans to other teachers. While the plans themselves usually cost only a few dollars, the high demand has really paid off for some teachers, like Hadar Harstein. She says she's earned $1 million over the past 6 years, allowing her to stay at home and raise her newborn daughter.
You can't go into it thinking you're going to make $1 million. But if you are already creating resources and you have things that work really well in your classroom and your students are really benefiting from, then why not post it and see if someone else, another teacher and other students would benefit from it.
While monetizing lesson plans has created a new source of income for many teachers, some educators worry that it will stifle the practice of teachers freely sharing ideas.
Well, it does, and fortunately that open sharing does already exist in the teaching community. Unfortunately, what some teachers might be inclined to do is frankly what any of us will be inclined to do when we have a product to sell, and that is protect that product and not do anything that's going to water down that market.
One site, Teachers Pay Teachers, says its contributors have earned $100 million over the past 10 years. The site allows teachers to download free plans by paying a fee ranging from just a few dollars to several hundred.
Teachers have always collaborated, I think, throughout time, and they continue to do that. We find that our teachers come together to help one another with lesson plans, to share ideas, to create things together. So I think all the great collaborative work the teachers have always done is now just on a bigger platform.
For parents, the grades are mixed.
It could be that there's a positive side to it, that a teacher might think that another teacher may benefit from it, but I just don't feel for purchase.
If someone has spent enough time putting together a really good lesson plan or come up with a great idea, I think they should be able to be remunerated for it, really.
As lucrative as the practice may be, some legal experts argue that the resources created by teachers may actually be the property of the school district. Some districts actually bar teachers from selling their lesson plans. But Samantha Cuckoo, the language arts teacher in Michigan, she says using classroom-tested material helps her and her students get ahead.
This will be a fun one.
Joseph Frederick, Associated Press, New York.
The National Weather Service confirmed today this year has been the wettest year on record. Officials checking precipitation totals at 8 stations in the northern Sierra found just under 90 inches of rain and snow, surpassing the old record of 88.5 inches set in 1983. The new record comes less than a week after Governor Jerry Brown declared California's drought emergency officially over. It was a warm one out there today, and we're expecting sunny skies for Easter hunts this weekend. Erin Calandra says plan for a couple of breezy days. She has tonight's forecast.
Well, it's pretty quiet for us here in San Diego. We do have a bit of wet weather to the north of us, but it's not going to make it down here. Looking at our local radar, well, we see a lot of pretty much nothing through the region. It's pretty mild and quiet and pleasant out there. Tonight, 57 degrees for your overnight low with increasing clouds throughout the night. And those clouds are going to kind of linger in the morning. So when you get up for your morning commute, it could be just a bit foggy or low clouds for you out on the highways. Borrego Springs, 53 degrees tonight. Mount Laguna, 34 degrees. Alpine, 41. Ramona, 41. Poway, 49. Oceanside, 48. And, of course, San Diego, 57 degrees. Those are your overnight lows with just a few clouds kind of moving into the region. So it's going to be a pretty quiet weekend for us. On Friday, maybe a bit cooler, especially in the mountains, and also a bit of wind as we have this jet stream move through the area. But everywhere else, it's going to remain mild and quiet. This weekend, it's going to be dry and pleasant. Nothing on the radar to tell you about. Looking at your 5-day forecast for the coast. On Friday, 70 degrees with some clouds. Saturday, more sunny, 70 degrees. On Sunday, it warms up a bit to 71. And on Monday, there's going to be plenty of sunshine, 70 degrees for your high. And on Tuesday, clouds and sun. Just a nice day for you, 70 degrees for the high. Inland, well, Friday, it's going to be a bit warm at 72. But look at this, warming up to 78 by Saturday. Mostly sunny and nice for your weekend. Sunday, plenty of sunshine, 77 degrees. Monday, it cools down just a little bit to 75, but lots of sun. And on Tuesday, 74 degrees for your high. In the mountains, well, it's going to be a bit breezy and cooler on Friday, 58 degrees. It warms up, though, by Saturday to 64 with plenty of sunshine. On Sunday, a few more clouds move in, 64 degrees. Monday, 62 degrees and a bit breezy. And Tuesday, it's going to get a little bit cooler, 60 degrees for your high. In the deserts, well, it's always warmer in the deserts. Make sure you put on your sunblock and drink plenty of water. Saturday, it's going to be 90 degrees with lots of sunshine. On Sunday, we'll have a few clouds, but it's going to remain hot at 91 degrees. But still a nice weekend for you. It's going to be dry. On Monday, partly sunny and a bit cooler at 89 degrees. And on Tuesday, temperatures drop to 86 degrees. So a nice cool down for you for the beginning of your work week. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra.
Low commodity prices mean many Midwest farmers are changing the way they do business. In tonight's Harvest Public Media Report, Jack Williams shows us producers who have learned how to operate and live with less income.
This is our little office that we use, kind of a break room. This is the center where we work on the computer or order parts or things like that.
On a family farm in Prague, Nebraska, about 40 miles north of Lincoln, Carl Soshek is right at home. His family has been farming this land since the late 1940s. They grow mostly corn and soybeans, but the last couple of years haven't been easy. Commodity prices have tumbled from record highs just a few years ago to prices today that make it tough for some farmers to turn a profit.
The best thing that ever happened to the corn industry was $7 corn. The worst thing that ever happened to it was $7 corn because it kind of threw everything out of balance. And I think we'll see the cycle come back. I don't know when it's going to come back.
While he waits, Soshek is doing what he can to cut costs on the farm. Instead of taking his equipment to the local implement dealer for repairs, he has parts delivered to the farm and does those repairs himself.
How much money does that save you doing your own repairs? If you had to take your tractor in yourself, how much would that cost you compared to you actually doing this yourself?
Shop rates can run anywhere from $75 to $150 an hour. And service calls, if they come out from the dealership to work on a piece of equipment, a service call could be another $250 on top of that. So if it's something that we can take care of ourselves, every time we do that, we're saving a little bit of money.
Soshek doesn't apologize for enjoying the good times a few years ago. He says farming isn't always easy, and when commodity prices shot up like they did, many farmers enjoyed a higher standard of living. It was a lot different than the days when they had to watch every penny they spent.
If we need to go back to that, we will. and I think we have it ready. We're careful about our family living, and been there, done that, and we'll do it again if we need to tighten our belt that much. And we are. We're being careful about the way we spend.
Dave Nielsen is a third-generation farmer in Lancaster County in eastern Nebraska, where he grows corn and soybeans on about 2,000 acres. His father and grandfather worked this ground before him, so he's seen the good and bad times. He says the younger farmers who got into the business a few years ago when prices were high are the ones who feel the commodity downturn the most.
It was really tough on young guys starting then. You know, young guys that were starting in those glory years, wow, this is easy. I mean, there's a lot of youth that came back to the farm, maybe left jobs in town and came back to the family farm to farm. And you know, now it's a whole different ball game. Now it's, you know, you really have to watch what you're spending on inputs and family living and that.
Nielsen probably won't lime his soil this year, and like Carl Soshek in Prague, he's doing a lot of his own repairs to save money. And he's taking a hard look at the rest of his expenses.
Every good operation should, even in the good times, really, you should. But you probably just a little sharper pen or a little sharper pencil when you're in the downturn.
For Harvest Public Media, I'm Jack Williams.
Globalization and trade have transformed the American economy, but increasingly, the competition for jobs comes from within our own borders, with automation, robots, and artificial intelligence rapidly moving into the workforce. Marketplace reporter David Brancaccio takes a look at what we can expect and what we can do about it.
Oh, yeah!
What is automation? It's essentially technology in the workforce. And as this technology enters the workforce, as essentially employers hire robots, what is the social impact?
In an effort to answer some of these questions, I decided to hit the road across a swath of the Midwest.
The great American road trip requires a sidekick, right? It's like Don Quixote had Sancho Panza. Who might be my robot sidekick? So I held auditions and I met some great robots. I met Pepper, who's articulated 17 ways. It'll greet you at the airport. I also met Kuri, a very adorable little robot that doesn't have any arms, cruises around your house keeping an eye on things, plays media back to you. But none of these wonderful robots really added up yet to a fully fledged human companion.
But we know there are jobs that robots can do. We visited the Robotics Institute at Carnegie Mellon University, a key center for robotics in the country, to learn more.
There was a very disconcerting robot, the snake robot. It fastened itself like a python around my ankle and started crawling up my leg in its little camera head, looking around and examining things in a kind of creepy fashion.
But you can see how a snake robot would be pretty awesome at crawling through rubble during a search and rescue mission.
One place we're going to see a lot of robots is on the road. Those very important truck driving jobs. At what point are those robots? And what will the people who were driving trucks do for a living? Society has to wrestle with this.
Though it may seem like doom and gloom, we can never forget that loads of these jobs thrive as technology in the workplace progresses.
Composer. The creative pursuits where you're trying to do something people have never seen before, that's where machines are absolutely the worst.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Nurse practitioner, that's a master's level nurse. Sitting with a patient, hands-on, managing their care is something the human is going to do, not a machine. Human resources manager, potential for automation, 22%. Pays on average $28 an hour, and lots of them, 427,000 in America. Robot engineer. If you are a person who designs robots or who can work with robots or fix robots, that is a job that is going to prove, I think, very lucrative in perpetuity. I'm concerned about the American workforce in the face of automation. This future that some people in, for instance, the Silicon Valley are musing about, where we've entered the end of work and where we have to just pay people not to work doesn't seem like a particularly bright future. I hope we don't go there. I hope the future that we're going toward is the capacity of technology to open up new and interesting things for humans to do.
You can tune in to Marketplace on KPBS Radio weekday mornings during Morning Edition, also at 3 and 6:30 p.m. Researchers in Northern California discovered these mountain lion kittens. They say they're about 10 days old. They're the offspring of an adult Audubon Canyon Ranch research the Audubon Canyon research team has been tracking for 6 months. It's a first for the team. They've never had one of their mountain lions deliver a litter. An ACR manager says the kittens are in good health and they're planning more visits to track their growth. Here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. On Morning Edition, a monster movie with an indie heart. Anne Hathaway offers her clever twist in Colossal. And on Midday Edition, it's the weekend music fans have been waiting for. We talk about the hot acts taking center stage at Coachella. That's tomorrow on KPBS Radio. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.